Hi, it's Idaho again. Today we have a recipe that doesn't include potatoes. Can you believe that? We're getting ready for the Emerald City Extravaganza, and I have some bacon. I've been working on it all morning, but I'm going to bring you into it today and show you what I'm doing because I'm making shortbread cookies. It's actually something very, very simple. We're going to start by walking over to the mixer, and I'm going to drop 3 quarter-pound cubes. That gives us 3/4 pound of butter. This is unsalted butter. It's really important you not have salted butter, so just drop 3 of these in there into your mixer, and your mixer needs to be fitted with a paddle if you have such a thing. Hopefully you have a good mixer with a paddle. It's very, very helpful in this case. This butter needs to be room temperature so that it's really soft. Now we're going to add to that butter 1 cup of sugar. This is a half cup measure, so I'm going to use 2 of those, and I'm going to put them nice and level right into there, and then we're just going to turn this on. There we go. We're going to let that go for just a second while we get the butter and the sugar mixed together. See how that's looking all creamy and nice? Turn the speed down a little bit. And we're going to add about 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I've told you this before. I don't really measure vanilla. I just want it. Okay? There we go. About a teaspoon. Now let that mix in. Turn it up just a little bit. Let that sit for just a minute. Now, we're coming over. Sorry, my cameraman and I are having a moment. So, we're going to come over here now. You've seen me do this before. We're going to do it again. I've got flour and salt. And we're going to sift the flour and salt together. And we need, just because I can't remember anything today, we need 3.5 cups of flour. This is a 1 cup measure. And there's my fancy leveler. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and start shaking some of that down. And we just do that by tapping the sides of this. If you want to make a lot of noise, you can tap it to the bowl. But in order to try to not help you not have to hear all that noise, I'm just shaking it and not hitting the bowl, okay? And what we're doing this for is to sift the flour. It gets any lumps that might be in it out, and it makes it lighter and airier, okay? We want to get as much air into the flour as we can. It's going to make our cookies better in the long run. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, and we'll come back in a minute, okay? All right, then, so we got all that flour and a teaspoon of salt sifted. So now we want to make sure we're getting the oven heated up. We're going to turn the oven to 350 so that it can do its thing, okay? Now we're walking over here with this flour and salt mixer back to the mixer that we can turn on slowly. You don't want it too fast, otherwise this is all going to poof up in your face. But you're going to add just a little bit of flour at a time to this bowl. There we go. We'll let that beat in. And at this point, we can speed it up a little. Now, this is going to look like it's not really ready. It's going to look kind of like a wet sand, okay? But that's the way you're going to want it to look. Okay, it's all beaten together. See what I mean by looking like wet sand? All right. So now you're going to take that out of here. You're going to walk over to this place that we're going to make sure we have lightly floured. Like I said, I've been doing this all day, so there's some residual there. Now, here's the fun. We're going to take this and dump it out. Oh, look at that. Hopefully my dog will get that. That's the way it works. As much out of there as I can. Put that down in the sink. And we're going to mix this together. See how it's coming together? That's what you want. And you want to make kind of a disc. Okay? That's a nice disc. Then you're going to take some saran wrap. Yep. Saran wrap. Very exciting. And you're going to lay it over top of it. Pick it up. Oops. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Sometimes I flip them good. Sometimes I don't. I'm not on television, so I don't have to be perfect. All right. We do that. Again, we're making it into that. Make sure it's still kind of a disc. And you put that back over it. I'm using the saran wrap that clings to itself. It does make this just a tad bit easier, but any saran wrap will work. Then you're going to take this, all like that, and it's going to go in your refrigerator for at least a half an hour, okay? So I put this into my refrigerator, and I'm taking out one that I made earlier today. Haha. Okay, now we're going to take that out of here. And you can see it's really firm right now, okay? It may even need to warm up just a little bit. That way, and I'm going to let that start to come back to room temperature a little bit. I just need it to get a little, so I can actually get it to, I'm going to use the rolling pin on it. So we'll come back in a minute and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here's our lovely dough. It's all nice and refrigerated. You want it, and I've been working on it, but you want to roll it out now. So it's about 1/4 of an inch thick, and you can make it nice rectangle. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to give you your choices. My friend Ina Garten uses a rectangular cutter. I am going to do a copy of a black and white cookie, but not in black and white, and so I'm using a round, okay? And I'm just going to cut out cookies, round shapes, and then we're going to put it on a sheet with Silpat, or parchment, depending on what you have. I'm hoping to get at least 25 cookies out of this batch and 25 out of the other. And since I'm already at 12, I'm thinking we're on our way to greatness. Because I can always roll it back out too for a little bit more. So we're getting really good here. That's 20. We're gonna tray that up. I have my handy dandy, lovely spatula. I love this little spatula when I'm doing work like this. It's just so much easier. And get right underneath it. And we're gonna put these on the sheet. Once I get these on the sheet, remember we have the oven at 350. So that is, and you want to make sure it's pre-warmed to the 350. Don't put it in if it's not already there. So we're going to tray these all up. Then we're going to put them in the oven. And we're going to bake them for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12, until they start to go golden brown on the edges, okay? You don't want to overcook these. Well, you don't want to overcook any cookie. It makes them dry. When you get a dry cookie at the store or at your neighbors because they don't know what they're doing, it's because they overcooked them. That's just the way it is, okay? So keep that in mind. If you get a dry cookie, or they didn't have enough butter. Or recently I made a peanut butter cookie and I used natural peanut butter instead of like Jiffy or Skippo, whatever. And that has a lot of hydrated fat. I think I'm not gonna get we're gonna have to move these. Anyway, I'll show you when they come out, what it looks like. All right, so I pulled the shortbread cookies out of the oven. This is what they look like. Now they have to cool and they need to be completely cool. As they get cool, I'll take them off the tray and put them on a cooling sheet. Once they're completely cool, they'll be firm. And then I am going to melt chocolate drops. This is made out of white cocoa. These are pink, these are green, and I'm going to spoon it onto each end. So that half the cookie will be green, half of it will be pink. And then they get laid back onto the sheets, covered with parchment, until that chocolate sets up. And then those who have pre-purchased their tickets for the Emerald City Extravaganza will find that there's one in their gift bag when they get there.